Good evening.
Oh no, I'm having one of the moments, huh? I said good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right then, act like y'all here with me. Tonight we're gonna cover some general information about substance abuse. As you all know, that this is a very important lesson because it connects the dots for a lot of our kids in our classrooms. Because we know that people use drugs to ease the emotional pain, that they're experiencing. They use drugs, marijuana primarily, and alcohol to self-soothe some of the things that they're experiencing. And they try to justify the continued use day in, Saturday after Saturday after Saturday, why they continue to keep using. So now, our jobs is not to make them stop using, but our job is to give them enough information so they can reevaluate their use and then hopefully make that decision to stop. So now, a few terms that I want to just go over is MAX. What does MAX mean? MAX means mood-altering chemicals. So we want to ask them, we want to tell them about mood-altering chemicals, and we also want to find out what their DOCs are. Their DOCs are drugs of choice. So now when we look at this and we see what are drugs, one of the first questions we want to ask them is, this is what I always ask is marijuana a drug? And of course, you get about 50% tell you, no, it ain't. No, marijuana is not a drug. It's a herb. It's a medicine. Because now with all this hoopla in California and people swearing that marijuana has medicinal purposes. They think that, hey, it's a medicine, so we can take it. We just take it without a prescription. So what you want to get them to understand is, what is a drug? Well, a drug is anything that alters the way that you feel, think, or act. And once you give them that simple definition, you ask them, does marijuana meet that criteria? And of course, they can't deny that, because that's the reason why they use it. Because it changed the way they feel, okay? It changed the way they think, and of course it changes the way that they act. So then that's when now you got their attention. I usually find that at this point, they're a little open to some of the things that I have to say, because now their defenses are down, because now I've just poked a hole in one of the greatest defenses that they've had, which is that marijuana is not a drug. So at this point, once I move past here, what I want to get them to do is to understand what addiction is. So then I asked several students, what is addiction? And quite naturally, they give me their definition, and their definition is people that are derelicts, homeless, people who are standing in front of their buildings at night begging for change. So they give you a definition or a description of individuals who have actually hit their bottom. And I try to help them to understand that those people that you see that are at that point are really getting high no more, because they can't do the things that they used to do to get high. They go into Walgreens, and Walgreens is on them as soon as they walk through the door. When they go into a community, people are on them because they look like a what? And they'll tell you, right. So those people are at the end of their road. So now if that's the end, what does the beginning look like? And then you get to explain to them, that addiction is very, very sneaky. It sneaks up on people. So now, what I do at this point is I write this simple definition on the board. Addiction is the pursuit of pleasure at the expense of personal freedom. So then, after I give them this definition, I then go to say to them, let me break this down in its simplest form so that you can truly understand when I say that addiction is the pursuit of pleasure at the expense of personal freedom. When we pursue something, we do what? Chase it. What? Go after it. So we go after pleasure, which is what? Considered feel good. What else? What do they always say they're looking for? Fun and what else? A rush, excitement. You know what I'm saying? They always looking for something because they always what? Bored, right? So they looking for, they going after fun and excitement at the expense. If something has an expense, it has a what? A cost. At the cost of personal freedom. So now, when we talk about their freedom, what we're talking about is this, is the right working of their mind. In other words, we're talking about their thinking. So their thinking is obscured. That's why a 16-year-old can tell you that marijuana ain't a drug. That's why they can tell you that though I get high every day, it ain't a problem. The reason why I'm failing in school is because the teacher don't like me. The reason why I got a probation officer is because the police is on something. The reason why I have problems at home with my parents is because they don't understand me. You know what I'm saying? When the fact of the matter is that the drugs has created such a problem with the youngster that he ain't thinking right. So now because he done lost his personal freedom or the right working of his mind to think clearly, he has now become a slave to the drug. And once he becomes a slave to this drug, this is what it does to him. It ends all his dreams. And that youngster then becomes emotionally, mentally, and spiritually dead. And now he's living in an illusion. He's living in a fantasy. He's sitting around with his friends talking about, man, you wait till I grow up, man. I'm gonna have me a bad house, man, and smoking rides, man. Man, don't smoke all the blood, dog. Come on, pass it. You know, that's their reality. You know what I'm saying? He don't see that it takes work to get all those things that he want to have in his life. So he can't see beyond that. So now he lives in this fantasy. Because all his dreams of being somebody prosperous that he had said, remember? Because I always bring him back to, remember when you was in 5th grade, 6th grade, and they asked you what you wanted to be when you grow up? And you wrote this paper, you wrote a 2, 3, 4 paragraph paper about how you wanted to be a fireman, a policeman, or a doctor, a lawyer. Are you on that path? Are you on the path to become that thing? Or are you on this path of not knowing where you're going to end up? And usually in most cases, a lot of them youngsters that are 16, 17 years old can't tell you what they want to do or where they plan on being next year because everything has been clouded because they've engaged in this drug use. You know, so, you know, one of the things that we want to help them to truly understand, because what's happened to a lot of our kids is that through their lifetime, through schools, they've got, you know, the DARE program, the Beware program. They didn't heard this message of don't use, don't smoke, don't get high. And what has also happened with that, unfortunately, was that they've been told that if you use and get high, that you're gonna possibly become an addict. You know, you're gonna possibly, you know, have bad things happen to you in your life. Well, guess what? The first time they use and those things don't happen, that child believes that all the information that he got from the people in the beginning